makes you think it's them?
Said might be.
The bunkers.
That's the word. Ident says we're looking at a couple of kids.
Another reason to hate Mondays.
So did you talk to Frank or what?
Nope. Left a message on my voicemail. Got a job moving to Toronto.
That's it?
Remember as being a particularly talkative guy?
He was starting to talk about not spending time with his kid. Probably why he left.
Well, there you go. Good for Frank. What do you got?
2 adolescents, 1 male, 1 female. I'm thinking 14, 15.
Same profile as bunker kids.
That'd be good. I'd like to tell them something. Both their kids missing 7 years.
We'll bag them up. Know within the day.
Press know about this yet?
Or they're on their way down. Don't worry. We'll keep them away from this.
Did you get anything useful?
You'll be the first to know.
Thanks.
Hey, Harper.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good.
Well, well, well. Sergeant Harper. What are you doing stomping all over our crime scene?
You got that right.
Excuse me?
Our scene. Coscarella moves out. Someone moves in, so, let's just say, howdy, partners. What do we know, McCormick?
Guess I get to break in another one. Hey, Christine? Allie? Bunkers are here. Okay.
Would you put those away, please?
That's okay. Mr. and Mrs. Bunker, I'm Sergeant Allie McCormick.
Nice to meet you.
So, how did you find out about this?
Some reporter. He came by the house, said you found our kids.
He shouldn't have done that.
Well, have you found them or not?
We have found the bodies of 2 adolescents. We don't know if they're Robbie and Allison.
When will you know?
Well, our forensics team is fast-tracking it.
But they are Robbie and Allison, aren't they?
Honestly, as soon as I know, you'll know. Detective Colliner can see you out. Take care.
Allie,
Yeah?
can I see you for a minute?
Yeah?
So there it is.
And why the large S?
The homicide seems to think they can get a 2-for-1 deal on us. They've invited us in.
Okay. What's doing?
You know that abortionist that was killed last night?
Mm-hmm.
They have a suspect in custody.
Already? That's good. They named the doctor yet?
Laura Farstad. And this is the case we're interested in. Dr. James Limner, gunned down outside his clinic 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember Dr. Limner. He left behind a wife and 3 kids. So, why does homicide think that their suspect's connected to him?
Same MO. Both Farstad and Limner were ambushed on their way to their cars. The suspect, Abby McGann, was known to workers at both clinics.
She's part of the angry mob. Where are they holding her?
Interrogation went. But why don't you take what's-his-face with you?
Harper? But I can handle this on my own.
No, there's no doubt, but I want you to do the meet and greet as well.
Glenn Harper's been a homicide cop for 15 years. I'm sure he can find his way around.
Everything but you. He works here. He's going to have to learn.
Oh, stop it. You'll give me a complex.
So why'd you transfer over? You're a pretty senior guy.
Well, they say change is as good as a rest.
So you tell me we're working with the burnout?
No, that's not my intention. You see, as folks in homicide, you know, we have it pretty easy. We show up, usually the victim and the killer in the same room. You guys, you get to use your brains.
So yours is a little rusty. Joke. It's a joke.
Sergeant McCormick.
Harper, you want to join in?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Abby McGann is a member of Anne's Lost Children, ALC for short. Named after the patron saint of expectant mothers. Pretty spiffy, eh? Arrested twice for causing disturbances outside Laura Farstad's clinic. Once outside of Dr. James Limner's clinic.
All right, anything else?
We've got her prints on the gun that killed Dr. Laura.
Don't call her that. Why aren't you charging her on your murder?
We will. We're just looking for a little interdepartmental cooperation here. Be nice to see Harper solving on his new job.
No, I think we're gonna need a little more than a photograph to help old Len out.
I've got her in custody. You can't find anything out, fine. I'll just go with the one.
Okay.
Guys are sorry to see you go, Harper.
I appreciate that.
I'll come back in a couple weeks. See if you still got your balls.
Okay.
I didn't have anything to do with that woman's murder.
Is that why you were picked up 3 blocks from the clinic? Why your fingerprints were found on the murder weapon?
Someone brought a gun to the line. I made them put it away.
Okay, can you give me a name? What's that? Don't know or won't say?
Waiting for my lawyer.
You realize that homicide's going to be charging you with the murder of Dr. Laura Farstad.
I didn't murder anyone. I spent my life saving lives.
Oh, is that what your organization does? And how long have you been a member?
5 years.
You must have saved a lot of lives in that time. What made you suddenly decide to take one?
I would please like my lawyer.
So how long have they been in the ground?
Harry Ostium's gone, so they've been dead at least 5 years. I'm on my way down to the site later. Might be able to narrow it down there.
So how did they get in the ground?
So far, I haven't been able to find anything to indicate cause of death, but probably nothing invasive. I'd say they were strangled, beaten to death. I don't know yet.
Are they the bunkers?
Should have the dentist by tomorrow.
You're aware that half the town is waiting for an answer.
I know. I was still at UBC when those 2 went missing. Saw their smiling faces on the front page of the Province every single day.
Still sort of smiling. I didn't find anything at the burial site.
Nothing.
No clothing, no trace evidence.
They left the same way they entered. Naked.
Gee, Laura, you're sounding almost biblical.
Hey, Christine, you do me a favor and pull everything you can on Anne's lost children?
The pro-lifers?
She look pro anything to you? Now, this is the one we should be after. The woman in interrogation's a stooge.
She's the shooter.
And the Farstad murder, not ours.
Then we look at her for that one, not the rest of our organization.
I want to talk to them about why they're letting a loose cannon harass the clients of that clinic.
I don't think there's any percentage in harassing them.
Well, I think you're wrong. The woman in custody is there because she belongs to an organization that thinks they can operate outside the law. Why? Because they wrap themselves in the Bible.
Okay, all right.
Have you seen how these people operate?
Yeah, they spend their lives trying to make political points.
You think that's what I'm doing?
Allison and Robbie Bunker went missing June 17th, 1995. They were at Bard on the beach with their parents.
The last person that saw them was a hot dog vendor working near the entrance.
So, how do you get 2 kids from Kitts to Stanley Park without calling attention to yourself?
They were with someone they knew.
Well, everyone went down that road. Did I didn't get any pearls?
Nothing.
So even if they are the bunkers, we are no closer to finding out who killed them.
Well, thank you, Mary Sunshine.
So what do you think?
I don't know yet.
Hey, there's just no need to go visit the lost children. Looks like one of them just found us.
All right.
Downstairs.
Maybe you should let me do the talking here. Ms. Watson, Len Harper, Gold Squad.
How long do you plan on holding my friend?
Well, you'll have to take that up with homicide.
Why? She said she spent the whole morning talking to you people.
On an unrelated issue. Sergeant McCormick, Cold Squad.
It hardly seems unrelated. She told me you intimated that she was responsible for the killing of that murderer 3 years ago.
He was a doctor. And yes, we were questioning your friend on the death of James Limner.
Well, I assure you my organization had nothing to do with that.
Sure, just keep yourself available, all right?
Certainly. But as far as I'm concerned, the 2 doctors weren't much better than whoever killed those 2 children in the park.
Well, that would be where we disagree.
Did you know that 1 in 4 children conceived in this country is aborted? 120,000 murders a year. Did you have any files for all of those?
It's not murder.
Well, that's where we disagree. Excuse me.
Can you believe that?
Hey, Laura.
Hey, what are you doing here?
This arrived on my desk. It's for you.
Thanks. You could have waited till I got back.
I was going for a walk anyway.
To a burial site?
Yeah. So what are you doing?
I'm taking soil samples.
Why?
Well, bones create ammonia in the soil after they're buried. I find what the level of ammonia is, and I can tell how long they've been here.
Are they the twins?
I don't think so.
Why?
Been in the ground too long.
How long?
I don't know yet. You interested in this stuff?
Seems better than what I'm doing.
Making coffee getting old?
Yeah.
You don't find this stuff gross?
No, not at all.
Then why don't you hand me one of those canisters?
This?
Yeah, perfect. I'm prepared to prosecute on the murder of Dr. Laura Farstad. I'd be happy to go with your murder as well.
On what evidence?
She was at the scene of both incidents. She eschewed threats. She was found with a weapon.
Well, I believe that she killed Dr. Farstad, but I'm not prepared to believe yet that she did Limner.
Get me a jury. I'll make the connection.
Oh, I'd much rather have a chance at a case before you go off on this.
Harper? I'm with McCormick on this.
Thank you.
You surprised me.
Oh, yeah, why's that?
Thought you would have leapt at that.
Well, I guess you don't know me very well. I'd like to actually know that you killed the guy before I throw her in jail. You're in a lot of trouble here, you know.
2 murders.
You did both of them, didn't you? If you didn't kill James Limner 3 years ago, then tell me who did.
His own actions caused his death.
Did Chloe Watson tell you to kill Laura Farstad? Did she tell you to kill James Limner? Abby, we're trying to help you here.
Chloe will help me. My lawyer will help me. The Lord will help me. And you never will.
So you want to let me in on something here?
What's up?
Who are we after? We've got a woman in custody who pulled the trigger on one murder and could very well be implicated in ours.
Well, I'm not interested in the woman in the cell. I'm interested in the organization she belonged to. Here, take a look at that. Her name is Jennifer Brando. She spent 4 years in the BBCW for arson. Firebombed a clinic 7 years ago. She founded the ALC with Chloe Watson. So read up on that. She's going to be here in 45 minutes.
Again, who are we going after here?
Well, the way I see it, I want to get Chloe Watson on a conspiracy to commit charge. Hey, Charles Manson never drew a drop of blood. He was still a guilty man.
I'd hardly put Charles Manson and Chloe Watson in the same category.
Really? Recruit a bunch of followers? Tell them your way is the one true way? Manipulate them into committing murder? Why wouldn't you? So, you can read up on Miss Brando, or you can go help Mickey and Nico. It's up to you, partner.
Hey, is this McCormick? She ever crack a smile?
Sure, why?
I'd like to see it.
Well, the last guy that was here, he didn't work out so good.
Right. But I'm not him.
She's not gonna take that on face value.
Hey. Sorry. Wherever those 2 kids are, they are not the bunkers. Dentals don't jive.
Anything else?
Remains are at least 10 years old, but I'd go 15 on a bet. Victims, 1 male, 1 female, at least 13 years of age, 16 on the outside.
But definitely not in the bunkers.
No way.
Thanks. Okay.
No way.
Sorry, buddy. Your turn.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna see if we have anything in missing persons that match those 2.
I'll trade.
Like I said, your turn. Tell them you thought they had a nice smile.
Nice.
So when the bomb went off at 5:30 in the morning, there was no one in the clinic, and I triple-checked that.
It's considerate of you.
You don't need to tell me what I did was wrong. I know that.
You and Chloe Watson formed your group 10 years ago, is that correct? But you're no longer associated with the movement. Why is that?
Prison gives you a lot of time to think, and I just decided it wasn't the way I wanted to live my life.
Was Chloe aware of your plans to torch the clinic?
Oh, she knew intimately.
What does that mean?
She encouraged me.
You blaming her?
No. I knew my own mind, Sergeant. At the time, I just thought it was the right thing to do.
Are all the members of your group as strong-willed as you?
You can ask them.
Did you know Abby McGann?
Briefly.
What can you tell me about her?
Not exactly the strong-willed type. I mean, she joined the group about a year after she had an abortion.
Abby? Really?
Well, she considered herself a sinner, and joining us was her attempt at redemption.
Do you know who performed the abortion on Abby's child?
Yes.
Was it Dr. Farstad?
No. No, it was the man who was killed, James Limner. Can I go now, please?
Miss Brando, when you and Miss Watson formed Anne's Lost Children, did you intend it to become a violent organization?
We believed in direct action.
Did that include murder?
Not from my point of view.
We should run down Ms. Brando's background, see if she stayed clean since her release.
Yeah. Miss McCormick. Sergeant McCormick.
What can we do for you?
Nothing. I'm here to see Abby.
Yeah, I know her.
She spent a lot of time here?
More time than me. All the protesters did.
But you remember her specifically?
Yeah.
Why's that?
You remember someone like that. 1 year she's in here having a procedure. The next, she's outside protesting.
Anything else memorable about Miss McGann?
She broke in here at one time, screamed at James, accused him of murdering her child.
How tight was the security around here?
Oh, after that incident, it got a lot tighter.
Did any other members of her group try to break in?
They'd get in. Sometimes they'd book appointments, pretend they were legitimate patients, and then harass the women in the waiting room.
Could I get a look at that appointment book?
I'm sorry, those are confidential. I'll tell you what. I suppose there's no reason why I can't give you this. We kept a list of all the women who'd book appointments to harass us. Members of ALC and the like. Unfortunately, they just changed their names and try again.
You didn't have any kind of screening system?
Well, we try. Trouble is, it's a delicate balance. Having an abortion is a difficult time for most women who come in here. They hardly need to deal with an inquisition to get in the door.
One more question. You just said most women. Why?
Well, between you and me, some of the ones we get in here, if it was up to me, I'd neuter them, you know. This is not a place where there should be repeat customers. Sorry, I know I shouldn't say that, but this job isn't an easy thing to deal with sometimes.
Well, then perhaps you should be checking the want ads.
Thank you.
Not our kids.
And it couldn't be a mistake?
Not likely.
But possible.
No. I'm sorry.
Those two in the park. Who are they?
That's what we're trying to find out.
Poor parents.
I wish I had better news.
No. No, the news you gave us was fine. It means Robbie and Allison aren't dead for sure.
Yeah. I guess it could.
Screw the firebomber. We should be talking to the receptionist at that clinic.
Yeah, maybe honesty became a crime lately. I'll take a look.
Harper. Looks like you finally got one.
Excuse me?
Joan of Arc down the holding cells just confessed to the murder of James Limner.
Really?
No, McCormick, I'm pulling your leg. Though I doubt you'd enjoy it.
Want to go?
I was waiting in the parking lot at the back of the clinic. I'd been there before, so I knew he always took the back way out. And when he closed the door and keyed the alarm, I fired.
How many times?
Once. I only had to fire once. I stood over his body so he could see who did it. He took my child's life, and I took his. It's an eye for an eye.
Ms. Watson, were you aware of this?
Not till this morning.
We'll be pleading diminished capacity.
Oh, well, I'm sure Dr. Farstad and Dr. Limner's families are going to be very happy about that.
You always this cheerful when you close a case?
We haven't closed a thing.
We have a confession.
And I don't believe it. She said she shot him at the back door of the clinic. Limner's body was found in the parking lot.
Yeah, well, that's hardly enough to throw a confession out.
She said she only fired once. Limner had one bullet in his body, but there was a second bullet in the wall of the clinic.
No, her statement was that she shot him once.
A statement made after a private conversation with Chloe Watson, her guru.
Where's Harper in all this?
How do I know? But I do know that Abby McGann is unbalanced. She's susceptible to being told what to do. Based on that, I'm not willing to accept this confession.
All right. But if anything more comes on those two kids in the park.
Deal.
All right.
Inspector Polachuk?
Yes.
Second?
Sure. What's up?
Can you sign this letter of reference for me?
You're not thinking of leaving?
No. It's for this.
A forensics course?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cops don't even like to go in there.
I think I'll be okay. And I won't let it get in the way of my job, I promise.
All those dead bodies.
I'll take them over donuts any day.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, what you doing?
2 dead kids. So I got us a room.
We're setting up here. Permanently?
Until this is solved, yeah.
Good idea.
Take a look at this.
Shana Sharp.
In the 2 months prior to Limner's murder, she made 4 appointments to have an abortion. Canceled every one of them.
When was the last one?
The day he was murdered.
What can I say? I changed my mind.
4 times?
Hey, I changed it a hell of a lot more than that. I went back and forth for months.
Did you look for another doctor after Limner was killed?
No. I had the child. My ex-husband has custody. Better she be with someone who wanted her.
Did your husband want you to have an abortion?
No, not at all. I'd say he was the reason for all the cancellations. He wanted a baby, and I didn't. So I guess everyone got what they wanted. He did, and so did I.
Yeah, it looks like everyone won except Dr. Limner.
Now, listen, if you don't mind, I want to see if I can break my record.
Do you know anything about an organization called Anne's Lost Children?
Of course I do. Every time I went to the clinic, they'd stuff pictures of fetuses in my face that shouldn't be allowed.
Let me just throw this out. Was your husband involved with them?
No.
Do you know where we can find him?
Yeah.
I can't say that I was unhappy that he was shot. No, it's because of his death that I have a 4-year-old daughter.
So you didn't want your wife to have an abortion?
I begged her not to.
Is that why she didn't go to any other clinics after Dr. Limner was killed?
Well, she was pretty far along, but the fact that I was so opposed to the idea must have had some effect on her.
You said you didn't cry any tears after Dr. Limner was killed. You opposed to abortion in general or just in this specific case?
I'm a Catholic, and though I'd never stop anyone from having one, I do consider it a form of murder.
You ever been involved in a pro-life organization?
What has involved me?
Being a member?
I've contributed money in the past, but that's it.
Where is your daughter?
The play group over at Second Beach right now.
So I take it her birth didn't bring you and your wife closer together?
Some things are past repair. The fact that Shayna didn't even warm to her after she was born, that's not the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Your daughter.
Kaylee.
Kaylee, that's a very nice name. Does she ever see her mother? I got 2 of my own. Is she a handful?
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Thank you.
You got that right. Thanks.
See ya.
You know, I'm just going to throw this out here. It's not murder, it's a medical procedure.
Not to some people.
Let me take a wild guess. You're one of those people.
I hope that's not a problem for you.
No, not professionally.
You know, there's something about these two that's not playing for me here.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
Well, when Wanda and I had her first, I don't think I could have loved her more, but these two, they went straight to divorce. It doesn't figure.
Wanda?
Well, you know, we don't get to pick our names.
No, you got that right. So just because you got a happy marriage with Wanda, that makes you an expert on marriage and a woman's right to choose.
Is this how this works here? If my opinion's different than yours, I should just keep my mouth shut?
No, I want your opinion, by all means.
Okay, my opinion is we have a murderer in custody right now, and all we're doing is trying to fulfill some personal agenda. I say a confession, a murder weapon, close it, and move on.
No.
No, what do you mean, no?
Well, my opinion is that a pro-life group bred a double murderer and an arsonist, and if we can implicate its leadership in even one of these murders, then maybe we can nip the next vigilante in the bud.
That's not our job.
Well, I happen to define my job, Sergeant Harper. I'm an independent thinker, you see.
Okay, that's the same reason that when we get back to the station, I'm booking.
You're what?
I'm gonna help Nico and Mickey understand the park kids. That's my job.
I can be my guest.
If you don't mind.
Well, I happen to like it.
Hey, what do we know?
We know that there were 750 runaways in Vancouver in the years 1985 and 1986.
Okay, you have the files?
Room B14.
Allie, I just got a call from Holding. Your buddy Abby wants to talk.
So? You in on this or what?
Like I said, it's yours.
So you gonna help me with these files or what?
Yeah, in a bit. There's something I want to check out first.
Okay.
I lied to you.
Excuse me?
I killed her. I didn't kill Dr. Limner.
Do you know who did?
Chloe. Chloe Watson.
You're not going to change the story too, are you? So let me get this straight. You still admit to killing Laura Farstad?
Yes.
Where did you get the weapon?
From Chloe.
And?
I didn't want to do it. I gave the gun back.
But you did do it.
She made me.
And how did she do that?
Well, she told me she'd done it before. She told me she shot Limner 3 years ago. She told me it had taken a lot of courage, but it was the right thing to do.
Then why didn't she shoot Laura Farstad? Why did she make you do it? Why did you do it?
Because she was a murderer. Laura Farstad was a murderer. She killed hundreds of babies. It was my duty to stop her.
Your duty?
We tried to stop her for years. We protested every day, but nothing changed. And every day, she killed more children. And she had to be stopped.
Abby, what Laura Farstad was doing was not illegal. It wasn't murder.
Oh, it is murder. It is murder. She's no better than me. She deserves to be dead.
And what about you?
In the eyes of the Lord, I already am.
Is that why you confessed to killing both of them? Because you deserve to be punished? Why did you change your mind?
When Chloe came in, she told me to plead diminished capacity, that the group would be severing all ties with me and condemning my actions. And I just been sitting here, just thinking, I'm not crazy. I'm not diminished. This is not right. They should have the same conviction to the cause that I have. You know? It's not right.
Heard Chloe Watson's on her way down, lawyer included. You're going to enjoy this, aren't you?
Damn straight. We any closer to IDing those kids from Stanley Park?
Laura's working on it.
She's running a chem analysis of the bones right now. She's seeing if they may contain any properties that might define where the two kids are from. She said there won't be anything definitive, but it'll be a start.
Did you hear that?
I think so.
Allie?
I'm not surprised she'd say that.
And what's that? That you pushed her into killing Laura Farstad or that you killed Dr. Limner?
Either one.
Where were you the day Dr. Limner was killed?
I was at a rally in Washington, D.C., helping our American chapter.
We have signed statements to that effect.
And our organization has released videotapes of the seminars. In fact, I spoke the day Limner was killed.
in case you're interested in what I had to say.
That doesn't prove you're innocent. You persuaded Abby into killing Laura Farstad. You furnished her with the murder weapon, for God's sake.
My client did no such thing.
If it wasn't you who pulled the trigger on Dr. Limner, then who's to say that you didn't persuade somebody else in your organization to kill him?
I'll say it. Despite what you think, the people in my movement are moral people, not zombies.
So, I'm sorry, who is it I've been talking to? Is Abby a moral person or somebody too easily manipulated?
Abby is deeply disturbed. She killed her own child. It's no great surprise she did what she did.
Oh, so she's an exception?
Yes.
And you did nothing to help her?
I only wish I had the power of persuasion you seem to think I have. Are you arresting me, Sergeant McCormick? Or do I just get a lecture?
Go on.
They are innocent little children. They have a right to their destiny.
Get out!
Dolly.
Not right now, okay, Harper?
I went back to talk to Shayna Sharp. Told you I thought there was something funny going on. And it looks like I was right.
Hey, Nico. Those two are here again.
What two?
The bunkers.
Where?
I put them in interrogation, too. They look like they needed some privacy.
Hi. Hi. I was looking around the house. Found this. It's a more recent photograph than the ones I gave the police the first time.
For when you reopen the investigation.
There's no easy way to say this, but we're not investigating the disappearance of your children.
But,
I can't imagine anything worse than what you two have gone through. But there's no new evidence relating to your children. There's nothing to justify it.
What do you mean? I mean, if those two kids in the park aren't Robbie and Allison, it means our kids are still alive.
I don't know if
So find them. Do your damn job and find them. You have no right to stir up our hopes and then just walk away.
Respectfully, Mrs. Bunker, we didn't stir up your hopes. If some reporter in the park
Find them.
Mr. Bunker, Robbie and Allison were good kids, responsible kids. If you haven't heard from them in 7 years, they're dead. You know that. I know that. What we have to do now is find out who those two children in the park were, so somebody else can stop
But you don't
suffering.
seem to understand this.
I can't help you.
Hey, thanks for coming in. I hate the fact that we have to bring up things that happened so long ago, but, oh, there it is.
Well, I don't know how I can add to what I already said.
Well, I was talking to your ex-wife, and I just wanted to confirm a couple things. Tell me what you did the day Dr. Limner was shot.
Shayna and I had a fight. She won again, and she went to the clinic.
How'd she get there?
I drove.
Really? Why'd you do that?
Well, we lived in Langley at the time, and the clinic's about an hour away.
But you donated to a pro-life group, and you were dead set against Shayna having an abortion, but still, you got in your car, and you drove her there. Nice guy. You own a gun, don't you, Ted?
Yeah, I do. I don't think I can even tell you where it is right now.
Oh, yeah? Well, you know, this gun that you can't find, apparently it matches the type of weapon used to kill Dr. James Lindmer. You didn't lend it to someone or something, did you?
I don't want to talk anymore. I think I need to call my lawyer.
No, that's not allowed.
What?
I'm just kidding. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, sure, call your lawyer. And we can just do this over and over and over again. And when that happens, your wife will start to remember more details. We'll get a chance to do ballistics on your weapon. And, she's gonna start to get really pissed off.
All we know is that you own a gun and you drove her to an appointment. So what else did you do that day? You know, if you just tell us that, then we'll go away. You see, the thing is that I have 2 dead kids in Stanley Park, and I would much rather be working on that than this. So if you just tell us what you did, we'll be off your back.
I didn't drop her off at the clinic. I dropped her off at Metrotown, which is about 15 minutes away.
Went for a little shopping before the abortion?
Didn't ask her why she wanted to be dropped off there.
Okay. What then?
I went to work. I was there for a couple hours, then I got the call from Shayna. She told me what happened to Limner. Then I went and picked her up, drove her back home.
Back to Langley. No more nasty talk about abortions.
Now we have a problem, Ted.
What?
Your wife didn't want to be dropped off. She told us that you dumped her. And you never went to work. You drove to the clinic, took out that rarely used gun, and shot Dr. Limner. Then you drove off somewhere, and a few hours later, it was time to go back to the clinic where you knew Shayna would be waiting.
See, Shayna never called you at work that day because you didn't go in that day.
Drive home to Langley. Hey, after something like that, I bet I could talk my wife out of having an abortion. What'd you say to her, Ted, huh? What did you say? Did you tell her that gunshot was God's way of saying, don't do this?
I had to. If I hadn't, the two of them would have killed Kaylee. You're a father. You must know. Wouldn't you die for your children?
I wouldn't kill for them. It's a different story.
Hey, what are you guys looking at? Missing persons, kids from Vancouver.
I'd widen the net. I don't think they're from here.
Excuse me.
I found trace elements of at least 6 contaminants in the remains. Points to a community with lots of heavy industry. Mining, perhaps, but not Kitsilano.
We're gonna need files on every missing kid in the province.
So, cards on the table, this is the where you get to know me part. I met Laura Farstad when I was 2 months pregnant. She was a good person. I was 34, single, career-driven, and with a man that I cared about, but I couldn't trust him. So, yeah, I had an abortion. And if I were in the same position again, Well, damn, now you know way too much about me.
Our first kid was adopted. We never thought we could get pregnant. So what happens, we barely got David in the house, and one is pregnant. We adopted once and got 2 kids.
I've heard that can happen. I thought about that. I thought about carrying to term. I thought about adoption. But I didn't go that road.
You know, I honestly don't presume to know how you feel.
Well, thank you for that.
I just think the world would be a better place if there were no such thing as abortions.
Well, you know, the world would be a better place if a lot of stupid things didn't happen. The world would be a better place if there weren't the need for jobs like ours, but there is, and it isn't. Anyway, this is just my way of saying that I'm probably not going to be so crazy on the next one, probably.
I get that.
You were good in the room.
Ditto.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to sit down over there, okay? Wow. Thanks a lot. You just threw her father in jail.
I think he did that himself. Is she gonna be all right?
She's gonna have to be. She's living with me now.
How are you with that?
Oh, I hear you learned to love them. Okay, come on, grab your stuff. Let's go.